Virgo, how you doing? Welcome. We're going to be doing your first half of general reading here. We're going to start off with some animal energy, but of course, I'm going to get right into the cards. All right. What is the animal energy for Virgo for first half of please and thank you. Please and thank you. Oh, okay, Virgo. Okay. You got the Scorpion. Are you feeling like a water sign? The Scorpion, it may be difficult upon first glance to decipher and discern the gift within the Scorpion energy. I mean, look, it's got a stinger and these two, little claws right here. This is an intense energy. It, does represent, the water sign of Scorpio. But this is feeling really, really, really intensely. This could also denote some shadow work that you're being called to do. You'll be coming into a time, and I feel like I talked about this a little bit in your last reading or the one before that, where when we are in a Scorpion energy, the advice is usually to spend some time on our own. Because if we're in a Scorpion energy and we are around others, we can end up stinging them and not even meaning to. Just because we're in an intense place, we have emotions and shadow work and maybe disappointments that we need to work through, to come out of the other side of it. And I just want to point something out. So a Scorpio or Scorpion that is in alignment, embraces the unknown, is not afraid of change, welcomes change. But a Scorpion out of alignment is terrified of change, terrified to take risks, wants absolutely nothing to do with the unknown. Okay? So you feeling some type of way because there are a lot of unknown factors in your atmosphere at the moment, right? Let's get some cards about it. Let's do it. What is going on for my Virgos? First half. Okay, let's get it. What is the Virgo energy for first time? Please and thank you. Wow, this has been coming up a lot today. So we have the Knight of Pentacles here, repping your earth sign self. I feel like this is very much saying to take your time with whatever choices or decisions or movements or whatever it is that you are doing or thinking of doing. Please take your time. Make sure that your decisions or your direction is grounded. See, this is my favorite night, actually, of all the nights, because it does take a while to get here, but once it does, it ain't going nowhere. It's the only horse as depicted in the cards that is not moving. It doesn't even have a hoof up like the Knight of Cups does, right? This is a stable and sturdy foundation. So if you know that where you're going to be there for a while, best take your time getting there, so that you know that it's the right direction, move, atmosphere for you, okay? This is, like I said, this could also be an offer coming in here, an offer related to work and or partnership, okay? Because it is a night. It is. I'm hearing to be still. I really am hearing to be still. Okay, what else is going on for months? Okay. The Hanged Man, this is what it is. Remember when I just said it feels like you're being called to be still? This is what this is, but the Hanged Man is an act of stillness, okay? So it's, what this always reminds me of too, in Norse mythology, this is when Odin hung himself upside down from a tree to gain knowledge and wisdom, right? This is taking an active time out to really discern what is best for you moving forward and how you're going to get there. And this is, for me, it's flipping your perspective, but what makes this different, because this is a cousin of the Hermit, right? And your card is the Hermit, right? But this is like the Hermit's cousin, okay? Because the Hermit goes inside to gain enlightenment, but isn't so bogged down in the specificity around it. The Hanged Man is something specific that you're being called to flip your perspective on and see routes and possibilities that you may be missing because you're in a state of constant motion. That makes sense? So again, the Hanged Man has something specific he's being called to flip his perspective about, whereas the Hermit is like, there's nothing like specific that you're being called to flip your perspective about. You're just going inside to gain overall wisdom and spiritual enlightenment, okay? Okay, what else is going on for Virgo? What else is going on? Whoa! Wow, you got two knights. The Knight of Swords, I love this so much because this is very much storyboarding for me. It's kind of like, well, you go through A to B and it gets you to C. Knight of Swords, this is what can be the product of doing the Hanged Man correctly. I guess there's no like one correct way to do the Hanged Man, but the Hanged Man is a verb. This is a verb, okay? The Hermit is more of like a state of being, but the Hanged Man is a verb, okay? And I feel like it gets you to this place of Knight of Swords where you're going to come out of this time if you would only be still. Like this Scorpion energy too. We were talking about the unknown. If you can go into a place and flip your perspective around the unknown or the direction that you're going, I feel like you're being called to be still, to really take a second look at what your possibilities actually are. Not within the scope of what is, air quote, feasible or air quote, practical. It's more like, are you being called to take a risk? Are you being called to relook at what, I feel like there is this energy here of being in the midst of your own self-made confines. It feels like you are in a box that you have made yourself. And you're being, yeah, this is cool. So first of all, I'm getting hardcore air sign energy here, but specifically Aquarian energy. We haven't gotten the star card, but I feel it. And we do have the Knight of Swords here. You know, a really good tonic, like a counter energy to this energy that I'm getting here is Aquarian energy in alignment. So Aquarians in alignment are just about, they take huge risks and chances because no one can tell them that it's not going to work out. And even if it doesn't work out, they're like, well, I did it and I had the experience. Okay? They're big, they're dreamers. And I feel like that is the tonic to this. I feel like if you go inside and really, really take a look at the box or the circumstances that you've created and then try to knock them down with a sledgehammer, it's going to lead you to Knight of Swords. We're going to come out of this time, boom, 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 boom. You are going to be so freaking clear on your best path forward. It's not even funny. And do you see how this poor little horse here doesn't have any eyes? Blinded here? This is moving forward in blind faith and following your inner sword of truth. But in order to discern what your sword of truth is, you must do the Hanged Man, okay? That's what it is. The Hanged Man can be connecting with your guides. The Hanged Man can be sitting down with yourself, with your higher self. The Hanged Man can be a life review. I'm hearing to really look at anything in your life that begins with the words, I can't. I can't do that. I can't go after that. I can't take that risk. I need to pay bills. It's that thing. I feel like you're being called to really, to embrace the unknown and take a risk. I do. Because listen, there's a huge change here that lies within this, but it is a change for the better. Think about bodies of water. So a lake that is still, okay, and never gets much movement, right? Beautiful, but it stinks to high heaven. Have y'all ever, I'm from the South, so it's like I have a very specific like idea of what that is, but still lakes, there's no movement and they can really get smelly, okay? So I'm just saying not to sit in this too long, but to really go for a place where you go inside and get those waters flowing, make it a river, right? It's gonna take you right into your next best direction. And you're gonna feel good about it too because you took time to go beyond your perceived limitations. That's what it is. You're being called to go beyond your perceived limitations. And within that is a fighting warrior spirit that you're going to need to do that because it is going to be a risk and you are being called to be brave. Actually, being brave came up in the Scorpio reading too. And you've got Scorpion here. You might want to watch that reading too, perhaps, especially if you have Scorpio in your chart. Okay, anyway, so let's get a clarifier for the Knight of Pentacles. Hello, oh my God, and at the bottom of the deck is the Death card, which represents Scorpio. Okay, I see you. You got the Eight of Cups paired with the Knight of Pentacles. In order to receive this newness and what you actually want, you must take a risk and let go of the old. For example, if you're in a job that you really despise, but it pays your bills, it doesn't pay you a lot, maybe even if it does. But you're being called to take the risk and cut ties from that energy because the universe can't bring you anything new unless you are willing to take a risk and walk in faith that you're always going to have what you needed more by releasing the old so that new can come in. I feel like you guys are trying to manifest from a very full closet and you're being called to release some of that stuff. Okay? The Hanged Man. Put a clarifier for the Hanged Man. Oh, really? This came up in reverse and I want to keep it that way. I feel like you guys always get Pentacles. I mean, you are Earth signs, but and you're very hard workers. Two of Pentacles is a somewhat successful juggling. Okay, somewhat successful juggling, and it came up with the Hanged Man. This and that, this or that. You might have been in your mind, should I move on to this job? Should I take on a second job? Should I give this person a chance or this situation a chance? Whatever have you. And it came up in reverse. And I feel like going to this Hanged Man position is going to help you figure out this juggling situation where you're going to have a clear point of focus and you're like, no, I know which pentacle is mine and I'm going to go run with it, aka the Knight of Swords. So anything, if you're in a position where you've been juggling and going back and forth, the way to get out of that is to go into the Hanged Man position. Remember, that's a verb. Okay? I just heard too, whatever gets you out of your kind of reptilian mind, so to speak, and into your intuitive sphere, or, if you want to, it could be through writing for some of you. Just automatic writing, just getting it out. Because I feel like for Virgos especially, and this is not for every Virgo, it's just experience of them, as asking Virgos to sit down and receive through, long bouts of meditation, it's a little like, ugh, but can I do it actively? You can absolutely do active meditation. Remember, the Hanged Man is an active thing. This is not the Hermit. Okay? And I really feel like you can make it active. This can be an active series of walks. You can do, I'm hearing spiritual walkabout, where you can set an intention for every day before work, after work, on your lunch break, to just take a walk. 3 minutes, 1 hour, whatever, where you just listen to music or no music. I wouldn't recommend like listening to an audiobook because that's a very specific thing you're having to focus on. But just commit to a walk every day where you do the Hanged Man. And you really let yourself, this does not mean you take the walk and you let your mind go into mind cardio. It's just like, I'm setting the intention for this walk today to gain some clarity on this decision that I'm considering making, or this source of confusion that I am in right now. What am I being called to clear from my energy so that I can manifest what I want? Set out with that intention, and then freaking look out for all the signs and synchronicities from the universe that are going to come your way. By the way, something that I love to do and that works for me every freaking time, not just for me, for clients and friends. This is the bit of advice that I give the most to clients and friends. If you are considering taking a course of action, ask for a sign from the universe and then ask for that sign 3 times in 3 days, for example. So let's say you're considering switching jobs. You've got to leave the old one to get to a new one, for an example. And then close your eyes, get quiet, and let a sign appear to you. Signs from nature the universe can work best with. So let's say you get a crow. You're like, well, show me 3 crows in 3 days if I am being called to leave this old job and move on. Okay? Then let the signs come. Let them come. 3 times in 3 days. You got to give it a little time. Don't say like 12 times by the end of the day. That's a bit much, okay? The universe does have to work to get you these signs. And then let it come, and then it's going to fill you with this sense of knowing. It's going to give you that encouragement from the divine to go off and exercise this 8 of Cups, okay? And then I just heard like someone go, well, what if the sign doesn't come? Then that's your answer. Ask another question, or ask it a different way, okay? Clarifier for the Knight of Swords here. Ah, Suki. This is very much the theme. So we have 2 of Wands here, so let's talk about this. The Ace of Wands is that initial burst of energy and fervor. I've got all this going on. I'm going to go, right? It's kind of like, hey, Virgo, sorry about that. My camera just like shut off. And I feel like that's not the first time it's happened during a Virgo reading either. Sorry about that. Anyways, like I was saying. I got the image of someone like taking a bus from Idaho to LA, and they step off the bus and they're like, I'm going to be an actor, right? That's the Ace of Wands kind of feeling here, right? They just have that blind faith. They're just following that desire. And then you get to 2 of Wands and it's like, oh, wait a minute. I should probably get a map together to realize where I'm going. A 3 of Wands is I have a map and I'm starting out on my journey. And the 4 of Wands is like, yes, I made it. I got here. Yes, right? So this Knight of Swords here, which is moving forward, right, in blind faith, right? This poor blind horse here, in this 2 of Wands, it's like ready, set, go, and you're being called to get to this place. But you got to get here and know exactly where you want to go before you can create the roadmap. And this is what happens before the roadmap is created, okay? Oh, weird. They're telling me, too, to really ask yourself, what is your Ace of Wands? What is your Ace of Wands? What is it? What is it? Is it something, again, with going beyond your perceived limitations? Is it something that you think is like a pipe dream? or not doable because of whatever reason, age, finances, geography. What is your Ace of Wands? If you desire it, there's something in that for you. It may not turn out exactly like it is in your head, but it's something to follow the feeling of, right? Virgos, you got this. Just Hanged Man really hard. Hanged Man really hard and you will get there, okay? You will. You will. Just remember, be the Scorpion in alignment, which embraces the unknown and does not fear change. Okay? Also, as Virgos, you can be perfectionists, okay? You can be perfectionists. And that is not an energy that is necessarily going to serve you. I keep hearing safe bet. This does not have anything to do with a safe bet. This is a leap of faith, okay? Leap of faith. With the greatest risk comes the greatest reward. All right, let's get an oracle from my Virgs. That took 3 seconds. Wow. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Volcano volatility? Is this how it feels on the inside? Because honestly, this is lining up with the Scorpion. Look at the similar colors here. Volcano volatility, is this how it feels on the inside? Where it's a rupture. Is this something you've been sitting on for a while? Have you had some confusion for a minute about the best path forward or things that you may be called to let go of? I feel like you guys are in need of, okay. You guys be in need of an emotional purge as well. Very much Scorpion. Do you remember when I said at the top of this reading that if you are in a Scorpion energy, but it's out of, if you're in this energy, it's best to spend some time alone because you don't want to end up stinging anybody, right? Not meaning to. This is about emotionally purging as well. And I do remember something. What you do not deal with will deal with you. And then you could have some regret if this comes at you. If you can manage this, so that it doesn't, burst and go forth and just like bury the city with the volcanic action here. Volcanic action, right? I feel like an emotional purge is something that's really necessary, and it's going to get your emotions in alignment, but is also going to help you see your best path forward, because I really, really feel like there are some perceived limitations that are fiction and fable, and not rooted in reality. It's your own perceived limitations. And I feel like you need to mind those and then walk in faith and then run forward after you get this information. And then it's going to be time to make your map. But you've got to take a risk and walk away from things, release things that are no longer working for you. Also, I'm hearing be very cognizant of the energy that you're around right now. If you are around people that are negative in nature, that are mirroring back to you where you are, trouble letting go of the past, trouble embracing the unknown, trouble just freaking taking a chill pill, and you are around people like that, you are going to it is almost like an infectious disease for you right now. Not to be too dramatic, but that's what it is. It's like an infectious disease, and you've got it. Scorpions are very, 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 very sensitive to energy, darling. Very, very sensitive. Please be mindful about who you spend your time with right now. Please, for this time being. You are going to be more affected by them than you maybe even cognizantly realize. Okay? All right, lovely, lovely Virgos. I'm actually going to get an angel card for y'all. That's what I'm going to do, because I feel like we could use some angelic advice here. All right, angels. Your last message for Virgo. Please and thank you. Gorge. Okay. This was on the bottom, and I just... Career transition, Archangel Shamuel. I love Shamuel so much. Shamuel is the angel of love, okay? Your life purpose is triggering a blessed career change. Your life purpose is triggering a blessed career change. Have we not been talking about this? Let it in, okay? We got leadership. Archangel Gabriel. It is time for you to assume your leadership power and position and lovingly guide others. And I do feel like this is really, really apt for you as well. Because also, by the way, Gabriel is about the throat chakra. Okay? Very much because it's about communication. You see this trumpet here? I have to tell you something. I feel like this is twofold. I feel like on one hand, you'd be called to communicate to those around you when they're out of alignment and affecting you negatively. Yes, take some time to yourself. Be careful about, how you communicate these things. But I feel like this is more about a future energy for you. You are going to go through this time and learn this huge lesson and get to the other side and have all of this abundance, so that in part you can turn around and help others get there too, because you've done it already successfully. And I do feel like Virgos are natural leaders. There's something about when a Virgo speaks, people listen. And it's because they don't normally talk out their butts too much. That's just my experience of Virgos, and two of my best friends are Virgos, and I very much feel like that's what it is. Virgos, there's this energy about them that's like, yeah, you are a natural counselor. And I feel like a lot of people go to Virgos for advice as well, right? This is beautiful. I really feel like, oh, weird, similar colors here too. Sacral chakra with the orange here. There could be some sweet release that comes around exercising your sacral chakra. I'm not going to get dirty with that, but I'm just saying it might be a good way to get, not that it's like dirty, but get out of your head and just kind of release some of these blockages, okay? Sexual healing or something to that extent, okay? Because you do have a lot pent up. And however best to release that, you'll know what's best for you. This is different for everybody, okay? All right, lovely Virgos, this was your first half of general reading. I so hope that this was of help and resonated with you. If it was and it did, please let me know in the comments below. I would just love that. And with that being said, just thank y'all so much for being here. Thank you for watching, and thank you for being you. And be well. Until next time.